What's up guys, Erroneous here, back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today's video, we're going to be going over two of the new fusion champions that are coming up soon this upcoming week. So one of them is a fusion, the other one is the partner to the fusion. It's basically a Hansel and Gretel duo for Halloween. So let's get into this. Alright, so first up, we've got Gretel Hagbane. So she looks pretty cool. She's a Sacred Order champion, so she's not going to be crazy when it comes to aesthetics. But in terms of detail, she has a lot going on. Anywho's, what of her skills? This is a force attack based legendary champion. The A1 Evil Undone attacks one enemy, 50% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense for 2 turns. It's decent. Similar to like a Rhodos, he attacks one enemy, he has a chance to place a decreased defense, which is kind of nice. If Hansel, Witch Hunter, which is her partner, is on the same team, she attacks all enemies instead and has a 25% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense on all enemies for 2 turns. Also places an extra hit under enemies with buffs. That's interesting. So she becomes way stronger with her pairing on the same team. And I'm assuming that the pairing is going to be like in a 15x progressive event or potentially like a Deck of Fate event. So if you don't have any shards or you don't have any soul stones saved up, that's what they typically do recently. They have done it at least once. So just keep in mind when you're saving resources, save for Hansel if you're going to go for this champion. So on the A2, Shadow Seeker Bolts. Attacks one enemy 4 times. Amazing. Already great. 4-time hitter. 4-time hitter is amazing, especially for like Fire Knight, especially for, Arena, because you have to get through the UDK passive. If you only have 1 hitter or a 2 hitter, UDK is going to block that. The second hit is just not going to be enough damage. So you have to have 3 additional hits to kill an enemy. That's already really good just reading the first sentence there. The first hit will ignore 10% of the target's defense. The second hit will ignore 15% of the target's defense. The third hit will ignore 20%. And then the fourth hit will ignore 25%. So that's almost guaranteed to kill a Rhodos because she's positive affinity to Rhodos. They just keep on bringing in champions that are strong against Rhodos, it seems. But you can also kill other champions as well, especially some mythical champions. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, with the Galathier champion, he heals himself upon death, but if you keep hitting him, I believe that he will end up dying if it's 4 hits. If I'm wrong, you can leave it in the comments down below, but I'm pretty sure she could kill a Galathier with 4 hits. It's possible, assuming that her ability is going to hit hard and has good multipliers. So if this attack kills an enemy, resets the cooldown of this skill, and fills this champion's turn meter by 50%, so basically allows her to almost get another turn. Damn, even without Hansel on the team, this is a strong ability. If she has good multipliers, then damn, she's going to be insane. Sacred Ritual on the A3. Attacks all enemies. Decreases the turn meters of all enemies by 25%. Okay, so that means she requires accuracy. But if Hansel's on the same team, decreases the turn meters of all enemies by 50%. And it can't be resisted. Holy crap. So far on paper, she's looking phenomenal. So far, she's looking insane. Like, I'm already going to go for this champion. Then fills the champion's turn meter by 20% for each enemy alive after the attack. And that's regardless of whether or not Hansel is on the same team. So that's pretty cool. So the only difference is if Hansel's not on her team, then she requires accuracy. If he is on her team, she requires no accuracy. That's pretty sick. However, she still requires accuracy for the decreased defense because that's not unresistible. So, yeah, so she'll still need accuracy if you want to land the decreased defense, but I don't think it's necessary. Most people just bring in increased attack for live arena or for arena in general, and if they have enough damage in the end game, then they're good to go. If you're early mid game, then yeah, you're probably going to want to use the decreased defense tactics, but it's not necessary if you have decent gear. On her passive, fills the champion's turn meter by 50% whenever an enemy is granted an extra turn. Oh, snap. Oh, that's good against mythicals. Whenever they're granted an extra turn. Good against mythicals, man. and it fills her turn meter by 50%. Damn, this champion's going to be insane. You guys need to go for this, especially if you're trying to fight in live arena. Man, as a free-to-play player, I have literally no options right now to fight people with crazy mythicals. And this champion could come in. Now, I'm not saying she's going to be great. I'm just saying she could come in and change the tide of the battle for you during certain situations, especially champions that grant an extra turn. Really strong against Rotos. Really strong against champions that have 9-piece Merciless. And guess what? Most players are now utilizing 9-piece Merciless in live arena or arena in general. So she could end up coming in and doing a great job, especially in Stone Skin. 1 turn Stone Skin on this chick, and then you're going to want to put a 4-piece lethal, or you could try to put Necrit with her to protect her, put her in Merciless set, 9-piece, or put her in 6-piece Merciless, something that's going to be able to allow her to do as much damage as possible, and she can come in and be amazing for you. Obviously she's not out yet, so I can't say she's going to be like a strong hitter. If she's a weak hitter, then it's going to kind of suck. But if she's a strong hitter, then hey, she's going to be top tier, like one of the best champions in the game. So I'm hoping it's the latter. I hope she's going to be a really, really strong hitting champion. And I hope I don't have to regret making this video. If Hansel, Witch Hunter is on the same team, also fills their turn meter by 50% whenever an enemy is granted an extra turn. Wow. So both of them get turn meter fill if he's on the same team. If the active effect is if Hansel's on the same team and is killed by the enemy, instantly activates Sacred Ritual, which is this one. Attacks all enemies, decreases the turn meter by 25%, and it actually does 50% instead because Hansel's on the same team and can't be resisted. So that's nasty. And increase attack in all battles by 30%, which is not bad because it's all battles rather than just specifically arena. So that's really, really strong, especially for Curse City as well. You got to keep in mind, Curse City is really difficult content, and you need champions like Fusions to help you out in Curse City. So let's move on to Hansel's abilities and see what he's like. All right, so we're on to Hansel Witch Hunter. Here we go. He's a magic-based legendary champion, the partner to her, to Gretel. He, on his first ability, Purge All Evil, attacks one enemy, 50% chance of placing a weaken, 25%, debuff for 2 turn. If Gretel's on the same team, attacks all enemies instead, has a 25% chance of placing a 25% weaken debuff on all enemies for 2 turns, also places an extra hit on enemies under any debuffs. Okay, these 2 champions I feel like are going to be amazing in Hydra. If you compare these 2 together in Hydra, they're going to be nasty. Nobody's talked about this yet that I can think of, but yes, they're going to be disgusting in Hydra. I can tell you this right now. If you get both these champions early mid-game, yeah, you need to put them in Hydra. Obviously, all the debuffs are not going to be as strong in Arena because of all the polymorph that's around. If you have Pinpoint, Accessories, and Feral that you're going to put on them, the issue with Pinpoint and Feral is that the more of that you put on your champions, the less damage you're going to have for output on those champions if you're trying to go for multiple intercept stacks. Okay, so be careful. Arena is a little bit different where you don't want to put as much accuracy on your champions as compared to PvE. So far, PvE wise, anywhere in PvE, wave-based content, these guys are going to be wave clearers, I feel like, too. So keep that in mind. On the A2, Sanctified Knives. Attacks one enemy 2 times, ignores shield and unkillable. That's always nice. Grants an extra turn if this attack kills an enemy. Also nice. Damn, so he might be a stronger hitter than her. It's on a 3 turn if you book it out. Decent amount of damage as well from books. On the A3, Baneful Burst. Attacks all enemies. Will ignore 15% of each target's defense. Also increases the cooldown of 1 random skill on each enemy by 2 turns. Damn. Okay. So he's a lockout too. If Gretel Hagbane is on the same team, will ignore 30% of the target's defense, which is doubled. Will also increase the cooldown of all enemy skills by 2 turns instead. This cooldown increasing effect cannot be resisted. Oh my lord. That's insane. These 2 are going to be crazy in Arena. We might have some new meta champs on the rise here. Reflex for the passive. Reflex all fear, true fear debuffs from this champion to the attacker. If Gretel Hagbane is on the same team, also reflects fear and true fear debuffs placed on Gretel back onto the attacker. And the active effect is that Gretel, if she's on the same team, and is killed by the enemy, instantly activates Baneful Burst, which is the attacks all enemies. So that's pretty cool. They have really good synergy with each other. When one dies, the other one attacks all enemies. When the other dies, they attack all enemies. They have a lot of AoE skills. They can go through unkillable. This guy's got lockout. She's got really good skills as well. This guy's got increased attack in arena by 33%, whereas she has all battles. So overall, amazing champions. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I highly recommend going for Hansel and Gretel. Definitely Gretel if you can't get Hansel, but amazing pairings. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Are you going to be going for her? I will be. But yeah, if you're not going for her, save up your resources, work on Curse City, work on building up your champions and other things that you're looking for on your account. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on a video soon. Take care.